Imagine living in a world your own mind becomes your biggest enemy, where reality blurs, voices whisper, and fear becomes constant. Now imagine society labeling you as dangerous, crazy, or even broken. This is the reality for millions living with schizophrenia. And today I want to persuade you to look beyond the stigma surrounding mental illness, especially schizophrenia. This is kind of where I'm going to delve a little bit and see the human being behind the diagnosis. This is personal for me. My brother in law, Brandon Napolitan, struggled with schizophrenia. His story is a powerful reminder of why understanding compassion matters. So let's talk about the weight of stigma. Mental illness is one of the most misunderstood health issues. Schizophrenia, in particular, is often portrayed in movies and media as violent or unpredictable. These stereotypes isolate people and prevent them from seeking help. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, schizophrenia affects less than 1% of population. Yet stigma makes treatment harder than the illness itself. Research shows stigma leads to social isolation, reduced employment opportunities, and reluctance to seek care. So, my brother in law's story, Brandon was a loving, funny, and creative person. He had dreams, family, and a big heart. But when schizophrenia entered his life, everything changed. He managed his symptoms with medication, but the side effects were brutal weight gain, fatigue, emotional numbness was probably his worst. He hated feeling like a zombie. Eventually, he stopped taking his medication and started using substances. Was pretty big into drinking, occasional drug use, which I do not condone, but it happens. You know, his condition spiraled. In the state of psychosis, Brandon tragically committed a murder while under the influence of drugs. That single act became the headline, the label, the stigma. People saw a criminal, not a man who was sick and needed help. Brandon wasn't a monster. He was a human being failed by a system that focuses on control instead of compassion. His story is pretty heartbreaking, but it's really not unique. Many families live this nightmare because stigma keeps mental health in the shadows. Why stigma hurts everyone? Stigma doesn't just hurt those with mental illness, it hurts families, communities, and society. It discourages people from seeking help early. It makes conversations about mental health taboo. When Brandon needed understanding, he got judgment. When he needed support, he got fear. And when he needed treatment, he faced barriers that were too high to climb. So I'm trying to hit the approach. What can we do? Well, we can change this. Start educating by ourselves, speak up. When you hear harmful stereotypes, support mental health initiatives. And most importantly, treat people with dignity. Mental illness is not a character flaw, it's a health condition. People like Brandon deserve care, not to be condemned. So, in pretty much in conclusion, schizophrenia is not a punchline. It's a horror story. It's a human story. Let's break the silence. Let's replace stigma with empathy. Because behind every diagnosis is a person like Brandon, someone who deserves understanding, not judgment. So, my goal is the next time you hear the word schizophrenia, don't think fear, think of hope. Think it's things that everyday part of life, it's humanity. So, before I cut out, I just wanted to show a couple pictures of him, just normal. Got him right here. And this was him hanging out with me, it just, you would have never known that guy had those issues. And just to kind of get an idea so you can, if you're interested, work a little more on your own. If you looked up his name, it's Brandon, last name. Napolitan. You're going to see that what the media does with it really changes how you would view him. You know, reading what it says, I'd be a terrified person of the guy. But personally knowing him, he was just a normal person, real great with the kids and everything. So, again, thank you for your time. And if you got any questions, hit me up.